Orphie and Magus are finally here in Zenless Zone Zero. Well, almost. As of the 2.2 story that just released yesterday, we can finally trial Orphie and Magus, and they seem pretty strong. In this video, we're gonna take a look at how strong she actually is, through her kit, Mindscapes, and some potential team synergies. No need for a long intro, so let's jump right in. Orphie and Magus are our upcoming S-rank fire attack agents from the Opal squad. They focus on a couple of important concepts, but let's start with this meter right under her character profile picture. This is called bottled heat, and can be replenished in a couple of different ways. The best way will be while Orphie and Magus are off-field, unleashing a variety of different aftershock attacks. We'll go over these in just a second, but when you have enough bottled heat, you can hold down the special button to unleash EX Special Attack Heat Charge and grant the zeroed in effect for the entire squad. As we can see from her core passive here, this gives an up to 640 attack increase for every agent. The other important concept of Orphie and Magus' kit is her different forms of EX Special. Watch Your Step is the basic form and will restore 20 bottled heat with just one sweeping laser. Crimson Vortex is Orphie's first aftershock attack when you have 60 or more energy. This will also restore 20 bottled heat and is the most common form of move you'll see while she's off the field. The most important form is Heat Charge. When your meter of bottled heat is at least 100, you can hold down the basic attack to continually fire this big ol' laser. There's a couple of cool things with this laser, because as you keep charging it, it'll go stronger and bigger, plus it has a built-in parry feature. This fiery eruption text here is just what happens automatically after finishing your heat charge. That's overall generally what we need to look for while we play Orphie, but let's go into the full kit breakdown. Basic attack High Pressure Flamethrower is a series of 5 attacks in the front, followed by a powerful Flame Blade Strike, dealing mix of physical and fire damage. The thing to keep track of for this move is that powerful Flame Blade Strike, because a lot of her kit will combo right back into this move. We don't need to discuss anything with the dodges, her chain attack, or her assists because they're all pretty normalized, so let's hop into some specials. Blazing Chamber will just be a thrust forward and a tail attack, dealing fire damage. It looks really nice, but you won't use it that much. Corrosive Flash is a series of 4 laser aftershock attacks, all dealing fire damage, and a little bit more on that in the core passive section. As a recap for the EX specials, Watch Your Step is the initial basic form of restoring 20 bottled heat, that first laser. Crimson Vortex restores 20 bottled heat and is her first form of aftershock. The most important form is Heat Charge. When you have 100 bottled heat, you'll continuously fire those different stages of lasers, and then automatically follow up into Fiery Eruption. When your decibel rating is at 3000, aka max, you know what time it is. Press Q to activate Ultimate Dance with Fire. You will perform a spinning attack forward, then fire a laser ahead, dealing fire damage. When Orphie and Magus leap in the air, a quick assist can be triggered, and if you do trigger it, it will extend the laser firing duration, all while recovering 20 bottled heat. Overall, a pretty simple kit, and we can definitely go into combos and all of those examples when we have full early access guide for her coming out soon, so make sure you're subscribed for that. But let's of course go ahead right into the core passives. Core passive, Taming Wind and Fire, gives Orpheus and Magus a crit rate boost of 23% and aftershock damage increase of 78%. But note that this is not at the max level of the core passive, and this number will be bigger when we have the early access. This also states that when you enter the battlefield, Orphie and Magus will have 100 bottled heat, up to the max of 125, and that when they're off the field, if special attack Corrosive Flash is available and you have 60 or more energy, you'll automatically trigger Crimson Vortex instead. This blurb talks about that zeroed in agent attack buff that we talked about, and this last blurb just means that her basic attack High Pressure Flamethrower, EX Special Attack, Watch Your Step, Crimson Vortex, Heat Charge, Fire Eruption, Chain Attack, and Ultimate are all considered aftershock damage. Additional ability Forged in Flames will activate when there's a stun or support character, and all aftershock damage dealt by agents with zeroed in ignores 25% defense. So with all of the kit out of the way, how good is Orphie and Magus going to be? Of the 2 attackers in this patch that are releasing, I do give the edge to Orpheus and Magus, not just because of their strong fire and aftershock capabilities, but also because they have some slight support tendencies, as we saw from that additional ability. While Seed can be used with pretty much any attack agent in the game, Orpheus is still very cornered in on Aftershock. This means it'll be very dependent on a per account basis, depending on which agents you have, to determine if you should pull for Orpheus and Magus. For example, if you already have an account built on Aftershock with Soldier Zero, Anby, and Trigger, and Pulchra, you can 100% safely go for Orpheus and Magus, because they will make those teams stronger, as well as form a new team around Orphie. On the other hand, if you have Evelyn and you aren't so Aftershock focused, you may not need to pull for these two. Even from the preview in the story, we can see that Trigger will almost certainly be one of her best teammates, and could be the deciding factor here. We also have to preface this with one other concept. Pull for whoever you like. Zenless does a very good job of making the endgame content accessible for any character you want to play with, in the right team compositions. Overall though, Orphie and Magus are a very good pair and a very good pick for any account, but we can make them stronger with some Mindscapes. Mindscape 1 gives special attack Corrosive Flash, EX special Crimson Vortex, Heat Charge, and the follow-up Fiery Eruption, 15% target fire resistance ignore, as well as a 20% increased damage to agents with zeroed in. Mindscape 2 gives Orphie and Magus 65 decibels whenever they launch an Aftershock, and that can trigger once every 4 seconds. When they use their ultimate, their attack will increase by 20% for up to 45 seconds. Mindscape 4 increases the duration of zeroed in to 16 seconds, and EX special attack Heat Charge and ultimate Dance with Fire damage increases by 40%. Mindscape 6 has a couple of really good effects. First, when you have enough energy after that Fire Blade attack of basic attack High Pressure Flamethrower, you can immediately follow up with Crimson Vortex. Plus, when you activate the Fire Blade attack, you'll recover 10 bottled heat, as well as increase the interrupt level for EX Special Heat Charge. When the laser from EX Special Attack Heat Charge or the ultimate hits enemies, it deals additional fire damage equal to 250% of Orphie and Magus' total attack. This can trigger once every 0.5 seconds and is counted as an EX Special and Aftershock damage. You better believe we'll test all these Mindscapes and way more in that early access guide for Orphie and Magus, so make sure you subscribe for it. And there you have it for the first impressions for our next character, but I want to hear from all of you. What do you think of Orphie and Magus? Do you plan on pulling them in just a couple of weeks? If the video helped in any way, make sure you like it, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.